So the question today is, can a welder make a fine craft wood piece in his metalworking shop? And I think the answer is yes. Let's get on to it. All right, I'm feeling in a slightly artistic mood, which is never a good thing. And I have this piece of walnut sitting around that I've had sitting around for like a year now, and I never did anything with it. So what I might do is convert it into a walking cane. Like a nice walking cane with metal caps on both ends. And I don't have a lathe at all, so this is all gonna be with metalworking tools. So that's gonna be the question. Can you make a high-end wood piece out of metalworking tools? Let's get to it. Now, I don't exactly have a specific idea of what I want it to look like, so I think I'm just gonna start the worst method I've ever heard of and just start taking away material and seeing how I want it to look as I go. Let's get rid of this sticker before it causes me grief. Now we have our lines, we can start grinding them away. I'm just gonna give this a gentle clamping down to the table so it doesn't move all over the place on me. Just a gentle clamping so we don't mar the wood. Now this is just slightly too long, so I'm gonna have to cut it short, and I'm only gonna cut off a couple inches, but we're gonna save that for like the absolute end when I'm ready to put the cap on it. What do I want it to look like from here? I want it to be round at the bottom where the cap is gonna go. Yeah, so I think we'll take 3 inches off, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and do that right now. Hopefully I don't end up regretting that. Now I do hope I don't need to say none of this is recommended. Do not try this at home. I'm gonna use a metal cutoff wheel, I think, to cut this board. Because again, it's an all metal tools challenge to see if I can build with metal tools. So we're gonna use a metal cutoff blade and see if we can cut the wood. Let's try it. All right, do not try this at home. Well, it technically worked. Okay, so let's find the center of this now. Typically, the best way to do that is just to go from corner to corner like this. Okay, and now right in the middle of that is where your center is. And because I don't have a compass, we have to use all metalworking tools. This will give us roughly the center of this thing. That's close. Very, very close. All right, so actually we'll come back 3 inches and we'll make that all fully round. That'll be our first step. Okay, so that's where our cap is gonna go. So I think what I want to do is taper the octagon that's up here. Hey guys, thank you for watching so far. So I'm just gonna interrupt this video real quick. Just want to say, I know Thanksgiving is gonna be this week, so I hope you all enjoy your Thanksgiving. Make sure you enjoy the time with some family and be grateful for what God's given us. For Black Friday, I know everybody loves shopping, so I'm just gonna do a quick shameless plug here. Go check out my Etsy store. I'm gonna put the link down in the comments. Make sure you go check that out and see what products I got, see if you're interested in anything. And I just appreciate you guys all taking the time to check it out. And I'm going to stop talking so you can get back to me making the cane that we're working on. But thank you all for watching. Okay, so I just went and had myself some lunch and came back, and I really don't like this. It looks like an umbrella. So I think let's try to make it this thickness the whole way down and then convert into round as we go down instead of widening out and then narrowing back down again. So I think right here, where it rounds out from the octagon to the octagon, it rounds out in the middle. I think I'm going to take a file and actually put a couple little grooves in there. And that'll be kind of a nice little highlight piece right there. So this is technically a metalworking file, which means that it has very fine teeth on it. And fine teeth do not like wood because they get filled up with the wood. So I keep having to smack it to clean the teeth out. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take, and we're gonna torch this thing right here, and then use it to burn the inside of this loop only, hopefully. And now for the reveal. Boom! Look at that. That's just satisfying. I think let's go ahead and make the end cap real quick, because that won't take very long. It's just gonna be a little round piece of metal with a hole in it. So let's make the end cap, and then after that we'll do the handle. But first, because I'm not a fan of fire in my shop, let's get the dust as much cleaned up as we can before we start a fire in here. If we hold the pole up here, and use a Sharpie to trace out our circle, now we'll drill a hole in it for the screw. Go to the center of our end here, and I'm just going to try to line it up as straight as I can. We just have to keep coming and clearing it out, because we really don't want to risk splitting the end of this thing. We can line the screw up. Boom, right there. Now we just grind it, and we can grind it down to shape so we know it perfectly fits the end of the cane here. So that's our end cap. Now it's got a nice solid sound. What we'll do is we'll finish the cane, and then we'll screw that in and glue it in place so it can't rotate ever. So I think I figured out what I'm gonna do for the ornament on top. It's gonna be made out of 3/8 rod, solid steel, and it'll be 4 little crescents welded together into a sort of a sphere up here. And I'll have a peg in the bottom of it that will just slide down into this so that there's no screws or anything visible, and then we'll just glue it in. And I'm gonna use this piece of brass that we cut, and it's gonna go there, and that way you have a really nice high contrast piece up here. I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and get the solid round bender out and set up and start making the ornament. Whew. 3/8 is definitely the top end limit of this thing. Oh wow, it actually bends that way nicer if I put a little bit of oil on it. After sanding it, I don't know how much you can see, but it kind of galls up the back of this thing. And I actually sanded it down. You can still kind of see it's a pretty rough finish. But on the side that I just put oil on and didn't sand it at all, it flattened out one little spot right there. One little tiny spot right there. So everything actually looks really good on it other than that. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Now I know. Use a little bit of oil. Alright, let's weld these on. Alright, I'm going to pop that outside to cool off. Oh, it's getting hot very quickly. Okay, that's not bad. So, we'll glue that in. That's not bad. I kind of like it. Looks fairly straight. So I think I messed up. I made this, which is going to be really hard to get lined up and get that hole drilled out in the right location. So I think what I'll do is take and get another brass plate and drill the hole out and then sketch my line out and cut it. That way we know the hole's in the right spot. Put it through the brass. Drop it right there. Now we need to get the steel plate that'll go right here in between the ornament and the brass. We're gonna drill this out and then use this piece as our template. We'll just make them both the exact same. I have an idea of how to clamp this thing down so I can cut it on all sides. Put it like right here over a hole that's already there. Take a bolt through that hole. Ow. We just tighten that bolt down now. Our part is clamped. So that's what we got so far. Now, how do I get that exact? So I think what we're gonna do is take this screw and we'll drive the screw in. Okay, now we'll take a washer. We'll take our pieces here, get them all lined up, and then get them all lined up with this guy. Okay, just like that. Drop our screw down in here. Use our dead blow to align everything a little bit. And now hold it really tight. Tighten it down. Okay, now we can grind that to be flush with the cane. Shoot. I just realized the way I pegged that together with the screw doesn't necessarily line up that hole on the inside accurately. So I'm going to take that screw out right now and show you. Oh, that screw is hot. Ow. Cool. I love that for me. Yep. It's way off. You can see how misaligned it all is. I gotta figure out a different way to do this to make that line up so I can make that part all over again. And frankly, I don't feel like doing that right now because I'm kind of annoyed that that went wrong because that's a couple hours of work straight down the drain. So I'm gonna pause on that. And I have an idea. So I had made that little cap for up here, but I was talking to my dad and he actually had a really good idea to make, like a lot of walking sticks have, where it's a little sleeve and it slides over the end of the cane and then it has a cap on the end of that. And that's just a lot more solid. And then I can transition straight from the wood into the metal with a perfectly smooth edge. And I can put some brass on that thing too, and then we can have a nice, like, the metal with the brass and then the wood on this end, and then the metal with the brass and then wood on this end too. So I think let's go ahead and get started on that cap. I have tubing that if we taper down the end of the cane here a little bit more, this tubing can slide over it and it's almost the exact right diameter. So we'll use a piece of this and we'll put a cap on the end of it. So I'm gonna make this end cap about 2 inches. Let's cut that out. I have an idea that may or may not work. So, to make sure when I make this plate that it stays perfectly lined up to the hole, and so that I can grind it, I need to be able to clamp it down. So, my problem last time was that I just used a screw, and obviously a screw is smaller than the hole. So, I think what I'm gonna do is take a little piece of 3/8 rod, which is the same material that this peg is. We're going to drill a hole through the 3/8, big enough for the screw to pass through. We'll put the rod down into this opening, and then put the plates on and put the screw through that hole that's in the rod, and then that rod is going to keep everything perfectly centered because it's the 3/8. So we're basically making an adapter from a 3/8 hole to the size of the screw. And that should keep everything lined up. So let's try that out and see if we can make it work. Alright, so now take our spacer, pop it down in, take our plate with a hole in it. Now we can trace it out. Alright, there it is. That only took forever to cut out. Gotta let that cool down now, that's gonna be crazy hot. Alright, so we got the 2 pieces on there. We got our guide inserted. So now what we do is take our screw down through there. We need to hold these metal pieces still so that they don't go rotating out of the direction, out of the proper clocking. Hold on, I need a washer on there. I almost forgot. Okay, now let's try that. Now we should be good. Man, that's all very warm still. Ow, 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 ow. Now we just remove our plug, and we should be good. Hot, still. Putting them outside. Ow. Alright, I just made a little hook here that wraps around only the barbs so we can clear coat the actual ornament itself. Alright, now we just have to let that set. Shouldn't take too long as the part is still kind of warm from gluing it. Alright, so I would like to be able to hang this thing so once I get some tung oil on it, it can sit and dry without any contact. So I made this little hook that just goes in and it'll be able to hang from it. So let's get a rag and get some tung oil on this. My dad said he thinks that just tung oil will look great without any stain underneath it, so we'll do that. So I'm gonna put a little bit of tung oil on my rag, and that actually looks pretty good. Time to assemble it. Lay out some paper towels so we don't goof up the finish. I'm pretty happy with this, guys. I think it looks pretty nice. Very satisfying. I haven't made a piece out of wood in a long time. I really like the ornament up top, especially with that little bit of brass right there. The nice cap. my dad made the recommendation to make this longer than I had done originally, and he was definitely right. That looks so much better. Nice quality wood. I love this thing. This was so much fun to make. I had a great time doing it. Something very different, so I hope you guys enjoyed getting to watch it. If you did, make sure you go down below, like, subscribe, and I'll know that you guys want to see some more content of me doing kind of interesting challenges. Like I said, I really enjoyed this, so I thank you guys for tuning along with me. And sorry, it's probably going to be a little bit of a shorter video, but I figured something a little bit different would be fun. So I hope you'll have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to posting again in a couple weeks. Bye.